Hey, you guys. I'm trying to figure out how to turn this cam. Oh, here it is. Like the cam. There you go. Good morning to my YouTube family and my podcast family because I'll be posting this to a podcast as well. So glad to see you guys this morning and or afternoon or evening, wherever you may be. Happy Thursday to you and welcome to Happy Crappy Hour. This is our live stream. Every Thursday, we're going to talk about what's going on and catch up on your week and what's been happening that's good and bad. Good morning, John Bailey. Good to see you here. We're also going to have a bit of a lesson each time or a topic. We don't have to always stay on topic because, life happens and there are things that come up in your life that you might want to talk about. And I'm absolutely good with that. But today's topic is going to be when you know it's finally over with the narcissist. So I just think that's a really important thing because a lot of us continue to hang on. Not just a lot of us, I think everybody hangs on for a while. It might be a few months, it might be a few years that we hang on. And we need to be able to detach and be able to move forward. So we need to know, when is it really finally over? So you guys, as you're getting on, I want to give you a few seconds here. I have also, I came across something that's going to help us actually heal a little faster. So that's the second part of today's topic is when do you know it's finally over, and how do you heal faster? So we're going to get right into that. Let me see. John says, I have hung on way too long. Having hope is the biggest thing I need to lose. Ah, yes, you're right. It's having hope, right? Let's start with the part about um, the narcissist. When is it over for the narcissist? Here's the truth about that. It's never over for the narcissist. It just isn't. If they feel that it's beneficial to them to come back to you, if they think that you are willing to take them back, especially when they are at a point where there's nobody else to cling to, they will come back. It's never over for the narcissist because the rules keep changing. They keep changing the rules. They're not going to say, oh, well, we're divorced, or I cheated on you and I even got remarried, so it's over. No, actually, for them, it is never over because even the person they married, the new supply, that doesn't mean it's a forever commitment because there's no such thing as a forever commitment to the narcissist. They are fluid. They will be able to go when they feel like it and come when they feel like it. And so you are never, ever off limits to them. Nobody is off limits to them because they consider if that person is willing to let them back in, they will come back in if they need to or if they want to. So that's what I want to stress for you. You will not know that it's over if you look to the narcissist, okay? Looking to the narcissist and saying, oh, they've moved on, they've cut me out, whatever. They've remarried, they've moved to another country, it's over. I've heard of narcissists coming back into the country, seeking their old supply, reconnecting with old supply, calling them up 5 years later saying, hey, I'm, coming back into your country or into your state or into your town. What are you doing this afternoon? Or what are you doing next week? I'd love to get together again. It is never over for the narcissist. So don't look to them for clues for when it is over. If you do, you will be clinging on to them and stuck to them for far too long. So, I don't want to say forever, but you will, as long as you leave it up to the narcissist, you may never detach from them. So let me see here. I'm getting a few more viewers coming on. Hi, agriculturist. Good to see you. And Mike Smith, good to see you too. You said, narcissists don't know the meaning to commitment. Exactly. But it's never over for them because they feel like they can come and go when they want. Okay. So when do we know then that it's over? Where do we look then to figure out when it's over? We have to look at ourselves. We have to look at where our mind is and where our heart is. If we are still longing for them, and if we're still imagining a life with them, and like you were saying, John, about having this hope that one day it will work out, one day we're going to have this beautiful life together one day. If you're still in that moment or in that place in your mind or in your heart, it's not over for you. So you have a decision to make right now. You have to decide that to you want to walk towards that door. You want to close this door and make it finished. You have to make that decision, because like I said, for the narcissist, it is never over. Here's a really big clue. This is the big ta-da moment that I have, or aha moment that I had. You know it's finally over when you know you can have the narcissist back, but you don't want them back. That's when you know it's finally over. So how do you get to that point? How do you get to that point where you just don't want them back? You know, if you begged for them, if you kept showing up on their doorstep, if you know, even if you're imagining this in your head, like, I'm going to fight for them, I'm going to keep going for them, I'm going to keep checking their social status in case, you know, they become single again, so that I can interject myself back in their life. Even if you're thinking that, you could do that, but then you don't want to do that. You don't want to put yourself through that anymore. That's when you know it's over. And I'll give you another example in life when you know things are over. You know, I've had, well, I was raised on fast food. I was raised on, well, I mean, I've had good food too, you know, eating, you know, growing up and eating good food. But I became so habituated to fast food and soda and French fries and candies that I just couldn't stop doing this. You know, it became such a habit in my life. So there was a point in my life too where I would have a bowl of ice cream every night before I'd go to bed. And it just became such a routine that I couldn't seem to break it. I couldn't break this habit. But I got to a point in my life where I started cutting sugar out because I knew it's bad for me. I started eating a bit more healthy bit by bit. And now when I have, well, actually I do. I have a freezer full of ice cream because I have friends that come over and they like ice cream. But the ice cream stays in that freezer, and every night I have a choice. Do I want that ice cream? Do I crave that ice cream? You know, would that ice cream soothe me and comfort me before I go to bed? Would it give me a nice, you know, just experience and, you know, set me into this calm state before I go to sleep? You know, that's the way it was before. But now when I think about the ice cream, I actually think, no, too sweet. I don't want to, you know, I actually cringe when I think about it. I mean, there are times where I think, oh, it'd be nice to have a bit of ice cream, and I'll have that, but not in a routine, not every night before I go to bed. And in fact, I know I can have it, but I don't want it. It's not a craving anymore. It's not needed anymore. I don't want it anymore. I'll occasionally actually have to talk myself into having ice cream because I remembered how good it was. And then I'll have some. But it turns out like I just don't enjoy it as much as I used to because I just don't have that craving for it anymore. I don't have that taste for it anymore. Well, this can happen with the narcissist as well. It can get to that point where you just don't crave them anymore. And in fact, when you think about them, you're repulsed. You're like, you cringe. Your body reacts in a way that makes you feel like, yuck. And you want to turn and go the other direction. That's when you know it is over with the narcissist. When you know you could try and get them back. When you know that actually they're probably calling you and hoovering at you. And you know you could open that door again. And you know you could let them back in. And you know they're down on their luck and they need a place to stay. You can let them stay at your house, but you don't want to. You don't want to. So that is a really healthy place to be. Now, the next step, you guys, I want to get you to is, how do we get there? how do we get to this point, right? How do we get to this point where we don't want them anymore? Is it going to have to be like my ice cream addiction, my sugar addiction or fast food addiction, where I have to like slowly let it go and slowly introduce good things? Yeah, actually, start introducing other good things into your life so that you see what healthy living is, healthy relationships are. Start introducing healthy friendships. And it's really interesting because you start building new relationships. And in these new relationships, you start implementing the new healthy boundaries you learned about. You learn how to say no. You learn that, things that you like and things that you're willing to do. You're not willing to loan them money. You're not willing to give up your weekend. You're not willing to babysit for them every Thursday. You can say, hey, you know what? I don't mind doing it once in a while or once a month. But I'm not going to do this all the time for you. You learn healthy boundaries for yourself. And as you start to do that and implement it, when you start thinking about the narcissist again and how they completely bust down every boundary you have, you start to go, wait a minute. I don't think I want that. I don't want that back in my life. So you guys, let me catch up on a few. Hi, Jihad. Good to see you. Jihad says, John, John asked, let me go back a little bit. John says, every time I think she's done with me, she sends me a sad song. Ooh, like yesterday. Oh, so are you saying like she's sending you songs that are sentimental to the two of you and it reminds you of her? Or is she sending you some sad sob story to try to get you back and feel sorry for her and take her back? Yeah, I'm not sure which one you mean there. But Jihad is responding to that and says, John, it's a cycle. They will continue as long as they can get away with it. Yes. And that's why for those of you who are coming on now, at the beginning I was saying that you cannot look to the narcissist to determine whether it's completely over because they are in a cycle. They don't break out of their cycle, but we can. We can break out of a cycle. We can break out of a bad cycle, right? And we can start moving towards healing and wholeness and healthy living. Whereas they stay in this cycle of highs and lows where they just can't get out of it. They get to these tremendous highs, but it's almost like a heroin addict where they think they're going to get this high and they're going to seek it, continually until they get back to that high again, but they never actually achieve that first high. So they're so addicted though, they're going to continue to use people until they think, the supply that will give them that high. But in the meantime, if they can't find that supply, where do they go? They go to the old dealers, right? They go back to the old supply to at least get some comfort. They know they're not going to get the high, but they know that they're going to get a little bit of a hit. They're going to get a little bit of comfort. They're going to get a little bit of whatever it is they need to keep going, right? And as long as we get stuck in that cycle with them, it is not over. So we cannot look to the narcissist and think, oh, they've moved out of the country, or oh, they moved out of town. They got married to the new supply, so it's over. It's not over, because when they are having a fight with their new spouse, when they are being kicked out of the house by the new spouse, guess who they're going to call to see if they can crash on your couch, right? Yeah, it's not over for the narcissist. So you guys, here's the second part that I wanted to talk to you about. How then do we get to that point where we don't want them back anymore? Well, I found this really awesome letter. I found this amazing. It's not a letter, actually. It was a response on Quora. Quora? I'm not sure how you pronounce it, but it's Quora. It's on the internet. You can get the app and then join the community. It's a lot like, I want to say like YouTube, in that they will have questions, except for they post questions and people answer the questions. And so I found a comment on there that I want to read to you guys. It's rather long, and I may read all the way through. You know what? I might just read all the way through. It depends on if you guys have questions as we go. I can stop for that. Agriculturist says, before I get to this letter or this comment, agriculturist says, why do they cling so much? Because we were once good supply? Yes, absolutely. They cling because they don't want to burn all their bridges. And even when they burn their bridges, they don't think that it's completely burnt. They think that it could be rebuilt and they can come back and reuse the supply. You, right? That's what it is. They don't let go because why would you, there's a stash over here of gold and you can use it for a while, but it's in an area that you'd have to make a little effort to get to. But there's other gold over here on the other side, right? Somewhere closer to you, more accessible, just much easier to get to. Of course, you're going to use that gold. You're not going to go way into this forest and scavenge or go through, a jungle and try to survive for days just to get to this one other pot. No, you're going to go to the one that's accessible to you. So their new supply, which is really accessible to them and plentiful, right? But once the gold is gone there, where are they going to go? Are they going to stay in that place and starve? No, they're going to go back to the old pot that they know where it is. It's kind of far away. It's kind of hard to get to. It's a lot of work because they're going to have to, let me go back and forth with this metaphor. They're going to have to beg. They're going to have to cry. They're going to have to give you a sob story. They're going to have to hoover you. They're going to have to love bomb you. They're going to have to convince you to let them back in. So that's the jungle that they have to work through to get to that pot of gold. Yes. So they know that that you still love them. They know that you still care because they see that you answer their texts. They see that that you're following them or liking their statuses, right, on Facebook or whatever. They notice that if you have mutual friends, that your mutual friends are coming back to them and saying, yeah, they're not, you're not over them yet. So they know that you are still willing. If they just put a little effort, they can get back in with you. So, hi Lighthouse, good to see you. Lighthouse says, I've got harassed in workplace. I've been harassed in the workplace by an narc. I did not speak up because of fear of how people will look at me. I was forced into silence. Oh no, what? You get harassed. You didn't speak up. And now you're forced into silence. Now, how are you forced into silence? Is it that the narcissist is threatening you, or is it that other people are already kind of taking the narcissist side because the narcissist probably came forward already and made up some story? I'm not sure where you are. I'm really sorry that you're in that position though, because that's awful. What you have to do there is really compartmentalize. This is what I really love about the difference between men and women. They say men can compartmentalize, and I'm not sure like always and never or that type of thing, but generally men are very good at compartmentalizing. And I learned from that because what we have to do is we have to make a box and put that in the box for now. You may not be able to address what happened. You may not be able to make a big deal of it right now or expose it right now, but put it in a box and put that box in the corner of the room for now. Meanwhile, you continue to do the work you always did and you do a great job and you keep moving forward and you keep building your reputation at work as, dependable, reliable, honest, loyal. You build your reputation. Put that box to the side. One day, and you never know, it could be in a week, it could be in a month, it could be in a year. Something will come up and that box, it'll be the time to bring that box back out and reopen it and expose what happened. So that would be, don't be defeated. Don't stay in that place where you feel like I got treated this way at work and now I'm stuck. No, you're not stuck. Put it in a box and put it away. Keep doing the work that you're going to do. You may have a few, barriers in the way because of that. That's okay. Just keep going. Just keep going till those barriers disappear, until you get over those barriers. Mike says the narcissists are basically spoiled brats who feel entitled to everyone and everything. Yes, and that's why you cannot look to the narcissist to see if it's over. It's not over, okay? With that, Lighthouse says, I'm sad because I have allowed the narc um, not invade my. Oh, wait. I have allowed the narc to invade my physical boundaries, or not invade your physical boundaries. I'm sorry, Lighthouse. I'm having a hard time understanding what you're saying here. So you're sad because they did not invade your physical boundaries, or that they did invade your physical boundaries. And even that right there, you have to be able, you know what, if your work is set up, and it should be in a way where you can go to a manager and talk about it. But if you gave permission, if you allowed the narcissist to get involved with you physically and it was consensual, now you're regretting it after it was consensual, that's okay. Don't beat yourself up for it. Just forgive yourself, realize you took a step backwards, and now you just close that. You just close that off. You can go no contact. You can go gray rock, even after consensual sex, even after consensual whatever physical relationship you might have had or activity you might have had, right, with the narcissist. You can now still go gray rock or no contact. It wasn't anything illegal that they did. It wasn't anything bad or whatever. You gave in, you allowed. That's fine. It was your choice, and that's okay, even if you regret it. So now that you regret it, now you know to start putting up some rails, right? Boundaries, some safety rails. So that next time, if ever that happens again, like don't get in a room alone with the narcissist. Don't stand close to the narcissist. Don't sit next to the narcissist. Just set up those types of boundaries and limits for yourself so you don't fall back into that temptation again. Kathy says, silence is golden, Lighthouse. It's very difficult. Yeah. Antoinette, good to see you. Antoinette says, why do these narcissists, why don't they validate? Okay. They don't validate ours and their children's issues. They run for weeks and abuse you again for having feelings you need to talk to them about. Yes. Oh my gosh. Okay. I'm going to read to you this letter. It's at about mark 22 minutes, 23 minutes. I'm going to, you guys are going to love this. This is so crazy. Oh my gosh. Oh, I do want to contact. Oh, okay. I'll get to it at 25 minutes because I want to get to some of these comments. Like how it says, I programmed myself to keep silent. Even if I got physically harassed, I have no support system. Now, wait a minute. If you're being physically harassed and you don't consent to their physical approaches, then you do need to go to your manager and keep going up. And actually, maybe not the manager, go to human resources, go to an office outside of your office where they're supposed to deal with employee issues. Okay, so you may want to do that. Let me go down here a bit. Yeah, Mike says, every time I always showed love to my narc father, he turned against me. Yes. That goes back to another video I had done. I think it was a happy crappy hour, like the one thing that doesn't work with a narcissist, and that's showing them or trying to reach their empathy, trying to reach them, their humanity. And you cannot do that because in fact, they actually disrespect you. They respect you less for showing vulnerability, for showing love, for showing that you care. For some reason, they see that as weakness, and so they think less of you when you do that. And that completely falls in line with what your narc father does. Lighthouse says, I fear the narc's reaction. What will he do later if I expose him to the public? Okay. Well, well, you know what? You have to start taking keeping a journal, taking as many, I don't want to say notes, like any evidence that shows or indicates that he's been doing this. If people have been around and saw it, try to get people to talk about that. Try to get them to admit that they saw what they saw. Um, Write down their names, who was standing around when it happened. Write down dates uh, and details, so that you can present this to your boss. If it's somebody that's way high and it's not going to come back very favorable towards you, and I've seen this happen too, where the whistleblower, right, the person who tells, is the person then who gets reprimanded, is the person who gets disciplined, or the person who gets fired because um, the company sees the narcissist as too valuable to the company, so they'd rather fire the whistleblower than fire the narcissist. So you do have to be careful of that. And if that's the situation and you cannot stay any far, you cannot separate yourself from the narcissist, you can't get away from the narcissist, you can't transfer to another section or another department or another floor, then you may want to start looking for another job. I mean, you can expose them, but be prepared that you may be up for a very big fight. Um, so it depends on the narcissist's position in the company. I've heard of narcissists who've come in, undermined their manager. Now they're not even on top, right? They're not even above, the upper management. They're below. They're the bottom level of employees, and they make it miserable for all the bottom level of employees, but the manager loves them because they suck up to the manager and they present well to the manager and take credit for everybody else's work, so the manager thinks this narcissist is great. And then what happens though is that this narcissist also is undermining that manager and working upper management. So then afterwards, when enough employees come to the manager and tell them, look, this guy, this woman, it's terrible. This person's taking credit for our work. This person is backstabbing. This person is causing such discord amongst all the employees and making us all miserable. So once the manager starts hearing this and starts to investigate and finding out, oh my gosh, this is true, they start to talk to the upper management. It might be too late. That manager talking to the upper management finds out, oh no, the upper management has been hanging out with this narcissist. They've been at barbecues together. They've gone out bowling, golfing, tennis together. They've run into him at other places, or her, I guess. And they think this narcissist is great. And so the manager must be nuts. And in the meantime, that narcissist has been smearing the manager, talking about how ineffective the manager is and how the employees can't stand the manager. And the upper management is now being fooled by the narcissist. So that does happen with narcissists. So be very careful. You're right to be wise and stealthy about this. So I just wanted to let you know that's Irish Eyes. Good to see you. Irish Eye says, exposing them unleashes their rages. Document every time instead. If they damage anything, take photos and videos. Yes, 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 yes. I agree with all of that. So yes, document, take pictures, take photos. If they write you any notes, keep that. If they send you any emails, text, screenshot your text messages from them, stuff like that with a timestamp and date on there. Yeah, and save it into a file at a home, right? Or in your cloud. So yeah. See, Thomas, good to see you. Says, it's frustrating that the narc told a lot of lies about me to his families, and I can't defend myself. He still hoovers, but yet I was the bad one. Isn't that crazy? And then they're still hoovering. This is why I'm saying it is never over for the narcissist. They will smear you. They will tell everybody that you were the worst spouse, girlfriend, boyfriend, friend, partner, boss, neighbor. They will smear the heck out of you, right? They'll tell everybody that you lied, cheated, stole from them. They'll tell all kinds. You've got uncontrollable rage, whatever. They'll tell all these crazy things about you. And yet, it's not over for them, because if it's convenient or if it works to their benefit, if it will benefit them, they will come back to you and use you even more. That's the absolute nutty, crazy thing. Um, let's see. Shirless Jones, good to see you. Good afternoon, she says. I sympathize with everyone. Can you please read the letter? I have to go back to work in 40 minutes. Okay, I'm going to do it right now. The letter is titled, Here's How to Catch and Keep a Narcissist. So we're talking about not wanting the narcissist. How do we get to that point where we don't want them anymore? Okay, think about if you can catch and keep a narcissist, this is how you would do it. I know it sounds contradictory. A narcissist will stay around forever as long as you never expose them. You must also be willing to provide them with constant praise, accolades, attention, caring, kindness, generous gifts, and always support them emotionally, mentally, physically, spiritually, and financially. You must be willing to deny yourself of all of life's pleasures and hand them all over to the narcissist gleefully, making their life as exciting, interesting, and fulfilled as possible. You must be willing to live without intimacy, communication, honesty, or trust. This is how to catch and keep a narcissist. You must be willing to be cheated on, lied to, manipulated constantly without any hope of improvement. You must be willing to be submissive and never have an opinion, desire, want, or need of your own. This is selfish behavior and not tolerated by your narcissist. You must be willing to be devalued and discarded for being weak and not having the guts to stand up for yourself. You must be willing to be devalued and discarded if you are strong and try to stand up for yourself. You must be willing to live without security, self-esteem, peace, or comfort. You must be willing to live with secrets, lies, betrayals, false truths, omissions, hypocrisies, slander, or any other deceitful, manipulative action the narcissist chooses to impose on you. You must be willing to live without boundaries, perimeters, or any other self-respecting goals or aspirations. You must be willing to live your life knowing that the person you are giving everything to will never, ever be there for you, mentally, physically, spiritually, or financially. If you are diagnosed with an illness or have an accident, you are on your own, while your narcissist is out enjoying praise, accolades, and attention from others until you can be back on duty. You must be willing to feel genuinely sorry that your illness or injury has caused a huge inconvenience for the narcissist. How dare you not be able to serve their needs? You must be willing to be treated as completely worthless now that you have caused all of this drama. You must be willing to have your coworkers, friends, and family removed from your life until you are isolated from the world. You must be happily agreeable to giving up your career or your job should it ever interfere with your ability to be able to serve your narcissist's desires. You must be willing to leave a stable job that you love in order to make more money at a job that you hate so that you can accommodate your narcissist lifestyle. Okay, are you guys, I'm not even over. This is about a third through. Do you still want to catch and keep this narcissist? You must be willing to leave a stable, I'm sorry, I read that already, to leave a stable job that you love, right? You must be willing to live without love, respect, affection, or attention from your children because they also live to serve the narcissist, not you. They see no value in you because you don't see any value in yourself, or because they have been conditioned by the narcissist to believe that you are worthless and not worthy of such things. You must be willing to wake up one day to discover that your narcissist has left you without understanding why he left, or why they left, where they went, who they are with, or why or when they will be back until they return, days, weeks, months later, like nothing ever happened. And they will return. When they return, you must be willing to not ask questions. Do not speak of your feelings. Do not try to engage them in any serious conversation at all. Simply resume your position of loving them, caring for them, and being kind to them, making sure they feel wonderful about themselves no matter how confused and hurt you feel. You must be willing to always be wrong. Take full blame, apologize, and beg for forgiveness for everything the narcissist imagines that you did to hurt them. Whether you really did it or not is not relevant. Most often, it's them who hurt you, but this is unacceptable for you to think this way. So you must apologize profusely for not stopping them from making a bad decision. Their bad decision is your fault. Are you guys still wanting to keep this narcissist? Catch and keep the narcissist? There's more. You must be willing, when they come back to you, to be perfect in every way. If you fail, you will be punished. So apologize, and apologize again. Beg for forgiveness, beg for mercy for everything they did to you. Accept full responsibility for their actions and yours. Beg to be forgiven for everything they did to you. There are no exceptions. You must always take 100% responsibility for how they feel. You must also never offer advice or suggestions that might prevent your narcissist from making a bad decision, because this is critiquing them, and you will be punished severely for any criticism. You will get the silent treatment, or you will be attacked on such a personal level it cuts you to the core, belittled, called names, and falsely accused of things you may or may not have ever done. Do not cry. Do not show sadness. Do not show any emotion that might challenge the narcissist's self-esteem. Do not express any emotion other than happiness that they came back to you. It doesn't matter that the narcissist's behavior is killing you. Do not express it ever. That would be a huge mistake, as the narcissist might sense that you are unhappy in the relationship. This will force them to leave you again to go find someone who is more positive and superior to you. Someone who won't ask questions, feel hurt or abandoned. Someone who will listen to their stories of how horrible you have treated them and be willing to give them what you can't or won't. There's more, you guys. Are you still wanting this narcissist to stay? Are you still wanting to keep them? You must be willing to be abandoned and left with no resources to take care of yourself or your children with no explanation. You must be willing to put your entire life on pause at any given moment without warning, and be willing to wait patiently until your narcissist becomes bored with or disenchanted by their new person, or until that person displays feelings of unhappiness and becomes as worthless as you. You must be willing to be patient and wait. Do not feel sad. Don't cry. Don't react negatively. Stay positive. They will come back to you when they feel like it. You must be willing to allow this in and out behavior to happen multiple times and never tire of it. You must never see it as an issue. You must be willing to embrace the revolving door. You must be willing to appreciate the uncertainties, anxieties, and insecurities of them leaving you for something better at any time they feel bored or anxious with themselves. You must be grateful, thankful, and appreciative that you are special enough to the narcissist for them to eventually return to you whenever they choose to. You must be satisfied with being weak enough to tolerate their abuse, yet strong enough to keep yourself from going completely insane from all of the insanity of your day-to-day life with your beloved narcissist. There's more, you guys. Are you sure you want to keep this narcissist? Are you sure you still want this narcissist? By now, hopefully, you have learned your lesson and are ready to completely comply with the narcissist's expectations of you, whatever those may be. You must comply wholeheartedly, no faking it, with all expectations, even though you won't fully know what the expectation is, because they don't communicate their wants or needs to you. It's a fantasy conjured up in their own head, influenced by porn, envy of a friend, their boss or family member, which changes weekly, daily, or hourly. But you should know what it is. If you really love them, you will know what they want and need at all times without them having to tell you. And you should be more than willing to provide it to them happily. You need to be willing to live every day of your life with the truth that the person who you love so unconditionally, so deeply, so intensely, is not capable of loving you, respecting you, or caring for you at all, not even with all of their expectations met. You need to be willing to accept the fact that the harder you try to please them, the more they will despise you. You should be willing to have your bank account emptied, your home foreclosed on, and your car repossessed, resulting in you sleeping on the street while they are sleeping in someone else's warm, comfortable bed. You should be willing to become a shell of a human being, void of any feelings, emotions, identity, or responses, other than to happily and joyfully serve the narcissist person's needs, wants, and desires while completely denying yourself of all basic human needs. So, yes, if you are willing to do these few simple things, a narcissist will stay around for as long as you want them to, maybe even forever. You guys, that was the letter, or it was a response actually to somebody who wanted to know how to get their narcissist back. That's how you would get the narcissist back. And if that doesn't make you cringe, if that doesn't make you want to run the other direction, if that doesn't make you want to close the door and shut it forever on the narcissist, then I guess, you need help in other ways. You need help getting back your self-esteem. You guys, after reading all of this and knowing all of this is true, and you still want that narcissist back, I mean, actually, I can't even imagine you would want the narcissist back. So this is why I would say, think about these things. Listen to this again. So it's around mark 30 minutes, I think, when I started reading this. It's about 10 minutes, where if you listen to this again and again and remind yourself, do I really want this back in my life? This is what I'm saying that I desire, that I'm nostalgic about. You're imagining how beautiful things could be, but you know what the reality is. You have to live in that fantasy world with the narcissist and deny all reality in order to actually believe this nostalgic image that you're creating in your mind, right? So when you ask yourself, do I want that narcissist back? Think of these things. So you guys, let me go back and see what comments have been coming up. It's like a lot of comments. Let me go here. Exposing them, Irish Eye says, exposing them unleashes their rages. Document every time instead. If they damage, oh yeah, I said that. If they damage anything, take photos and videos. C. Thomas says, it's frustrating that the narc told a lot of lies about me. Oh, I'm sorry, I've gone back too far. Antoinette says, when I met my narc, I was a single mom and he was in process of divorce. He got with me so fast, I was dizzy. I always felt something was off. He tried to put a wedge between me and my son. Oh my gosh, yes. That's what they do. They isolate because they want your full loyalty and attention. Antoinette says, yes, this is what is happening to me now. I am being smeared. C. Thomas says, yes. Said I was emotionally abusive, but I'm really quite an empath. Only react from him making me feel crazy. Yep. Hey, Gamer Christina, good to see you. Antoinette says, hi, the best way is to write notes and refer back to it when you get soft. Chris Michael, good to see you. I've told the local community, the hook is in me, the pathological toddler Down center. I'm not quite sure what that means. Crazy, drunk, oh my. Okay, Jihad says, who would agree to live like that? That's insane, right? Like referring to the letter here. Yeah, this is what we are thinking when we are craving or wanting the narcissist back in our life. Like that, all the junk food that I was craving, if you guys were here earlier, I was talking about this, if you think about things that you've craved in your life, like the junk food, the unhealthy living, the just gorging yourself on horrible stuff, addictions to porn. If you are gorging yourself on stuff that it's bad for you, but you desire it and you want it back in your life, you get to a certain point where you could have it, but it actually turns your stomach to have it and you don't want it anymore. That's when you are done. You are finally done. You are done with the bad things and the toxic things in your life, including the narcissist. When you could try to get the narcissist back, you could even open the door and let the narcissist back in right now, today, but you don't want to. And if you know that, then you're done. You're finally done with the narcissist. But then how do you heal? Because there are times when you're going to get nostalgic. There are times when you're going to feel lonely and you think, it's better to have that narcissist than nothing at all, that's when you re-listen to that letter I just read. And I'm going to do another video where I'm just going to read the letter, and that way you guys can just listen to that on its own. I'll be doing that real soon and putting that out probably this weekend. But listen to that and remind yourself, that's what I'm wanting back in my life when I'm craving the narcissist, when I am missing the narcissist. It's absolute crazy, right? See, Thomas says it's a slow death. It is, exactly. Antoinette says, hi, when I asked the narcissist why he was a little late, he asked him in a nice way. He broke in a rage. I wouldn't mind, but I never ever asked him anything. I said, maybe losing this pregnancy, which I did. Ah, wow. I'm so sorry about that. But, in a way, that's a blessing because you're not tied to this narcissist. Sherry, good to see you. Sherry says, they're so delusional. They actually think there's something special. I know, it's really sick and twisted. Evil demons, yeah. See, Thomas says, yes, all of that I've been through. Very sad. Sherry says, they never cared about you to begin with. All they care about is what they can get out of here. It's all a fake facade. And Holly says, this is spot on. Wow, right? This is my reaction too when I read this. I was like, oh my gosh, this is absolutely nuts. I think I really, really like this letter. So it was a response. I'm going to read it. I printed it out. I'm going to read it again in another video, just the response itself, so that people can listen to it when they start to miss the narcissist. Have this ready, have it on your playlist, your go-to for no narc or no contact, or, label it as something for yourself. So I will get it out there, but it's at about mark 30 minutes on this video if you want to go back to it. See, Thomas says, no way I'm doing that. Right? Yes. Oh, the Dawn Center is a cheapo tomato drunk. Oh, I think we're losing something in translation here, Chris. But yeah, you're saying that this you're a narcissist is an alcoholic, drunk, or yeah, has this addiction. Yeah, and that just makes it so much worse, because you feel like you don't want to leave somebody who is down and who is wounded and has an addiction, but they have to want to stop this addiction. You can't help them. You can't stop that addiction for them. They have to want to. Yeah, all that will happen is you will continually be destroyed in order for them to fulfill their addiction. Unless you can do something like an intervention, if you have that kind of ability or legal, capability to stop them from, confining them and stopping them from drinking and detoxing them and all that, I don't think that we're allowed to do that. But anyway, yeah. Shirley says, this is exactly the way I was feeling, mentally, physically, psychologically broken. This was my story, working on healing from trauma bond and everything stated thus far in this letter. Yeah. Antoinette says, great letter, excellent. My door is closed for good, no apology, no, nothing. God is good. This is it, and sometimes we hang on because we want closure. Oh my gosh, that's another thing, you guys. Another reason that we don't let go is we think we just need closure. If only I could sit down with the narcissist and talk to them and get this all out on the table and get them to apologize or get them to understand what they did. I just want the acknowledgement from the narcissist that they did me wrong. You're not going to get closure if you're looking to the narcissist for it. You have to get the closure from yourself. And that closure comes from the truth. When you're able to see the truth, like is stated in this letter here, what you actually go through when you invite the narcissist into your life, or when you did have the narcissist in your life, if you can acknowledge that truth, that gives you closure. Now you have to forgive yourself, because you may start to say, well, why, how stupid. I can't believe I did this. I can't believe I did this to myself or allowed this person to do this. But you know what? That's okay. It happened. You did it. You can't go back and undo it. It does you no good to continue to beat yourself up. Give yourself closure by forgiving yourself. You don't need the narcissist to forgive you. You don't need anything from the narcissist. You don't need the narcissist to acknowledge you. You don't need the narcissist's approval or affirmation. You only need your own. You need your own forgiveness. You need your own affirmation of, oh my gosh, this is the truth. I did this part of it. I allowed this much of it. And I didn't leave, maybe the first 5 times, there were 5 times I could have left and I didn't leave. But guess what? You left the 6th time. Okay. You left. You're gone now. You've walked away from it. And even if it took them leaving you, oh my gosh, you blame yourself. I never left, and I put myself through that, or I put my kids through that. I put my family through that. And you don't want to forgive yourself until gosh, you guys, it's still okay. It's still not that it was right, but it's life. We make mistakes in life. Nobody goes through this life without fumbling. Nobody goes through this life without hurting at least one person. Nobody goes through this life without messing up somehow. So forgive yourself. Give yourself that closure. Seek the truth. Re-listen to this letter if ever you feel like you're desiring or wishing for the narcissist to come back into your life, or they're hoovering you and they start to look good again. Read this letter or listen to it again. That will help you get to healing faster. That is the thing. Seek the truth. Stay close to the truth. Write it down for yourself. You may even be able to write some of these things more specifically for yourself, and for actual, put down names. They hurt this person who is in my life. They hurt my son. They hurt my daughter. They insulted my father. They, whatever it is, you can write down things that the narcissist did specifically in your life, in your own experiences, and refer back to that every time you start to feel nostalgic about the narcissist. Okay, you guys, let me see. There are a lot of other comments here. Let me get to some of these. Sherry says, run and don't look back. Be glad you got out of Crazytown with your life. Yes, right? This is what I'm saying. There are people who are so upset with themselves, or that now the narcissist is gone. And I'm like, or they're upset that the narcissist has moved on to new supply, and they feel left out. And I'm like, oh my gosh, no, you're left with your life. You get a life now. This new supply is stuck in a marriage or in a relationship or wherever they are with the narcissist. They have no clue what is coming. That whole letter that I just read, that's what's coming to that supply. Oh my gosh, in the letter where it says you have to be happy and act happy and give the narcissist no grief, right, about what they're doing to you. You're not allowed to acknowledge any of your own pain or what they're doing to you, because then the narcissist gets upset at you for criticizing them. And I have seen this play out, oh my gosh, with people who, how do you even say it? It's like they're being a doormat for the narcissist. They are bouncy and happy and smiley, even though inside I know they're getting crushed, because the narcissist has been cheating on them left and right, and is holding, is keeping them on the line, thinking that they're the primary or the front runner, if you will, of the pack of women or pack of guys that the narcissist is dating, if you want to call it dating, I don't know, but sleeping around with, really. So the narcissist makes the person feel like, oh, you're a front runner. And so long as that you keep on, acting happy and do things for me and buy me things and take me out or pay for stuff or sleep with me or do everything I asked you to do, so long as you keep making me happy, you will stay the front runner. And people will do this. I've been watching people do this, and you can't help them. You can try to explain to them like what's happening to them, but they won't believe it. And they willingly uh, behave this way for the narcissist. It's like they're performing for the narcissist. Letting the narcissist know how wonderful and beautiful and great and handsome or smart or just amazing they are. Meanwhile, the narcissist is degrading them and cheating on them and making them feel like, of course, second best, probably not even second, probably fourth or fifth best, right? They're not even on the narcissist's mind when the narcissist wants to move from person to person. It's just horrible. Holly says, I would love to have that in print to be able to read in the event of an emergency. Oh my gosh. Isn't that crazy? Yeah, I found it on Quora, Quora. And if you go to Quora and look, it is printed actually. What did I do? I shared it on my, I don't know if they call it as my profile, I guess is what it would be called. So if you go to Quora, Quora, and you get the app, it's free, and you look for my profile, which is Escape from Crazytown, go to, I think you should be able to go into my profile and look for articles or anything that I shared. I've only shared one thing, and it was this. So if you go to my shared items, you'll find this letter. And you'll find the person who wrote it. I think her name was Jewel. I think her name was Jewel something, but it's there if you guys want it. So yeah, when I came across that, I was like, oh my gosh, I have to read this to you guys. It is so good. And this person just slayed it, right? Just amazing. Kathy says, Antoinette, you are not the problem. He has no heart and feelings. You've got to make a plan. Be real quiet and ditch that turd. Run away before he takes you down. Yeah. Kathy, thank you. Kathy says, Oscar, you killed it. Yeah, with that letter, right? Is that crazy? Chris says, is this acceptable? No, this treatment is unacceptable. Absolutely right. C. Thomas says, at one point, I actually was begging him to come back. I can't believe I did that. Yes, right? Now think about this letter. If, that you're begging for this to come back, right? And this is what people do. This is what we do. We have to stay close to the truth. We have to see what we're doing to ourselves. Gamer Christina says, I love the letter. Thank you so much. Yes. Holly says, when you are going through this, it is imperative that you begin learning to self-soothe and rebuild your self-esteem and confidence. Because if you are in this type of relationship for any, if you're in this type of relationship for any length of time, Holly says, you lose your own true identity. You just see your own worth in order to pull away. Yes. Kathy says, 7 times I took the narc back. It got worse every time. Don't waste your precious time on this earth. Get rid of the sicko. Yes. Find you again. Yes. I'm loving all your comments, you guys. It's like the light is on. There is hope. This is what I'm seeing in your comments is hope. And that's what I want you to see. I want you to know that when you start feeling this loneliness, this emptiness, and you want to fill it with the narcissist, you got to be like, no, your body's response has to be a cringe, and you got to push it away. And the more you push that away, it's like the more hope starts to pour into your life. The more good things start to pour into your self-worth pours into your life. It's just amazing. The moment you can say no to toxicity, your self-worth starts to grow. Every time you say no to abuse, your self-worth grows another foot. It's just insane. It's just insane until you get to the point where you're just walking on air. You're so happy, you're solid, you're strong, and you're capable. It's so amazing when you get to that point. And just do it little by little if you have to, but do it. Start saying no to toxicity in your life. Holly asks, is there a link to print it? Yeah, so I just told you about that. Go to Quora, Quora. I don't know if you have to, you probably don't even have to get the app. You probably can just go through Google and open it up in your browser. Look for Escape from Crazytown. Go to my share, because I don't want to, if she doesn't want, if she wants credit for it, and I want you to see who it is. This lady named Jewel who wrote this out. It's not my letter. I didn't write it, so I wanted to make sure. If you want to see it, go there, and you can see it from her, directly from her. And you can also like it, so that she knows that, wow, she's getting this attention from what she wrote. Jeannie says, I took my alcoholic back so many times. He's with someone else now. Not my problem anymore. She can deal with rehabs and AA and mental hospitals. Yes. John says, no, just sad songs in general. Oh, okay. So John's ex, Narc, is sending him sad songs in general, trying to lure you back in, right? Because she knows she's speaking to your loneliness, yeah, that part where if she can get into you or tap into your loneliness, get you to start feeling nostalgic, start getting you to feel sad, then she can act like she's the answer to your sadness and your loneliness, and she's going to try to get back in that way. That's why I say, for the narcissist ex, it is never over for them. If you're looking to them to tell you it's over, it's done, they can cut you loose, you're now free of them, it's not going to happen. And even if they say, yes, I cut you loose, I never want to see you again, it is over between us, they can burn whatever bridge they think that they're burning with you, they will still, at some point, after some time, weasel their way back in, if they think that they can get more supply from you, and if they're thirsty enough to get it from you. Yes. Holly says, especially when you have had trauma. Oh, wait. Okay. Especially if you've had trauma in your life, you want to just close that door. Kathy says, the narc caused great trauma in my children and me. He was also alcoholic. Yeah, right. I'm so sorry, Kathy. But forgive yourself, and it's over now. That's the thing. We have to look forward. We have to look for hope. We have to fill our heart with good things, right? And you know that. You've been saying that all along as well. So yeah, it is horrible what we allowed in, but now we know better. So we're going to do better. We're going to start cutting out, not just start, we're going to continue cutting out toxicity in our life and toxic people in our life. C. Thomas says, it is traumatic, and at some point I had enough. That's when I started healing. Yes. Yes. Holly says, I have a Quora account. I will get it. Thank you. Oh, good. Yay. So Kathy says, you have to put God first, no matter what, above everyone. Yes. I agree with you, because that gives me incredible healing, is knowing that there is something and someone greater than me that has it, has my back, cares about me. And we can't do everything ourselves as much as we want to. That's, and when we lean on people, they're going to disappoint us, because they can't be everything for us either. So I agree with you, Kathy. C. Thomas says, yes, he tried to turn my daughter against me. I didn't know about narcissism until I challenged him, and everything went bad from then until I was discarded during Christmas time. If I knew, I would. Yes. Oh my gosh, right? This is what my heart just breaks for single parents out there who have a narcissist come into their life and then come between them and their children. And in fact, the narcissist grooms their children to take the narcissist's side, to love the narcissist more than they love their own parent. I've seen it, and it is creepy. It's scary. It's sick. I don't know how things are turning out for these people at this point. I think there's one person that I don't even know this person. I never met this person, but I know the narc. And I think that the narc is grooming the child, or there are two children, I guess, and the narc is grooming the two kids, and it's so disturbing. But what can you do? You're not involved in their life. You're not, you just pray that the supply wakes up and realizes this before their children get destroyed, or before the narcissist destroys the connection between them and their children. Yeah. C. Thomas says, run quietly. Yes, yes. You guys, well, our hour is actually up. We are 5 minutes over. I'm going to let you guys wrap up your comments to each other, and I'm going to finish reading some of these other comments. Give us another few minutes here. Jihad says, C. Thomas, I didn't know about narcissism during the relationship either, but I knew something was wrong, and I stayed patient and kept praying to God that he changes my situation. Then finally, closure. Yes. Antoinette says, hi, Kathy. Thanks for that advice. I'm looking forward to loving and finding me. Yes. Mike says, we should all say heck no to the abuse. Yes. Yes, I agree with that. Jihad says, then I learned about narcissism and I was like shocked because I didn't know what I went through, that many others go through it too. Yeah, we all are, right? The same thing happened to me when I started learning about narcissism. I don't remember which video I started talking about that, but I started looking at this thing called a Jezebel spirit in the church. And it's essentially the narcissistic spirit, but it's a little bit different. In my mind, it's a little bit different because a Jezebel spirit you can get rid of. Narcissism, I don't think you can get rid of that. I think it's like wired in their brain and you can't change that. From what I'm understanding is narcissists can't be cured, but narcissistic people can be. So I want to make that clear. People who've been raised by narcissists may show signs of narcissistic behavior because that's what they learned. That's what they grew up with. That's what was taught to them, right? That's what they saw, how to handle situations. They watched their narcissistic or their narcissist parent. So it's even possible that the parent wasn't a full narcissist. They may have learned it from their parent. And in the religious world, we call this generational sin or generational curses that we learn from, that carries on from generation to generation. And it seems like a mental illness or an illness or a disorder, but it actually can be cured. It can be stopped. You can stop this. So, but those who are narcissists, like full-blown NPDs, I believe that they also are apt to become sociopaths and psychopaths. So that's where you have to be so careful because they are very dangerous. And even people who are narcissistic and may not be full-blown narcissists, they can be dangerous too. So be careful of that. When people are showing narcissistic tendencies and characteristics, it is best for you to remove yourself. But if you can try to reach them, it's possible to reach a person who's just narcissistic. They may start to question themselves. They may start to wonder why they're like this, and they may start to fight that characteristic of, that they picked up. So that's the best scenario. You guys, I kind of got off on that for a bit. So it's about learning about narcissism, right? And when we first learn about it, we're like, whoa, just blown away that all of this starts to make sense because you cannot relate to people. You can't use reason when a person is being narcissistic. Oh my gosh. Reason just does not exist in their realm. Antoinette says, hi, Kathy. Did you ever hear of God? Wait, how does this go? Something will make a way great. Oh, God, me on God. I don't even know. I don't know if this is written properly. I guess it's a great song. Gives me so much strength. Oh, that's good. Chris says, what about the psychological sociopath who enjoys the cruelty and they don't leave you alone? Yes, that's what I'm saying about these narcissists. They do have psychoses. They're sociopathic or psychopathic. They have no sense of boundaries and limits. I guess I've heard, oh gosh, you guys, I'm so far off. I can go on for a long time. There's so many things to say about this, but I'll say this one thing. The difference between a narcissist and a sociopath, let me see if I'm getting this right, is that the narcissists has fears and a sociopath does not. Like a narcissist will actually fear, let me see, abandonment, will fear judgment, will fear, let me think, being physically injured, possibly. A narcissist has fears. A sociopath does not. Like, they don't care if you abandon them. They don't care if you come at them physically, because they will attack you. They do not fear the law. They do not fear retribution from others. Sociopaths, that is. Narcissists actually might fear some of these things. They trample all over your boundaries and everybody's boundaries, but they do fear being caught. They fear discipline. So they don't want you, and they'll fight it, and they'll argue, and and they'll rage against you. But yeah, so that's the difference I've heard is between from a psychologist, between narcissists and sociopaths and psychopaths, if you will, because psychopaths also no fear. So you guys, let me see what else you got here. Chris says, do you know anything about remote neuromonitoring? This is the new narc torture. Oh my gosh, no, I'm going to look that up. Remote neuromonitoring? I'll have to look that up. This is the new narc torture. I don't know. I don't know anything about that. Unfortunately, Chris says, when I went to a church, that's when my money was stolen. Yeah, be careful. Narcissists are everywhere. You can't go into a hospital and expect not to see one. You can't go into a church and not expect to see one. You can't even go into a self-help group. I've heard of narcissists showing up in narc self-help groups, And, anyway, you guys, just, yeah, be the best you. Work on yourself. Do the self-love. Take care of yourself, self-care, right? Take care of yourself till you're strong enough to identify this and resist toxicity. Chris says, all of my money was taken out of my bank when I tried to escape and got to a church to pray. Oh, when you were at the church, then that's when so the people at the church didn't do it. It was while you were there that the narcissist took it. No. Okay, so Kathy says, oh, okay. Yeah, narc abuse is the worst. Antoinette, thank you so much for all your helpful advice to everyone. God bless and keep safe. You guys, blessings to all of you. I'm so glad that you came on today. I'm glad to have seen you. I hope that your week goes well. We didn't really talk about happies and crappies, but kind of, this is obviously the happy is to be able to say, I don't want that in my life anymore, right? I don't want it. When you start to feel nostalgic about the narcissist and you're like, wait a minute, no, I could have them back, but no, I don't want them back. That's the happy. The crappy is that we did go through all of this. We experienced what was in that letter. But the good side, I guess the positive side to that is now we know. Now we know. And we can get stronger and we can identify it and we can have closure. So blessings to you guys. I wish you lots of joy this week and hope and healing. I pray that you guys will find laughter, find places to laugh. I have a laugh. Let me see. I have what is it? A playlist of comedians. I think there are 2 comedians on there. I think it's Michael Jr. and Jim Gaffigan that I have their whole routine, like one of their shows each. So it's like over an hour. And then I have like 5-minute, 10-minute clips of other comedians, which are hilarious. But I have about 15 of them. So enjoy those, get a laugh, and I will talk to you soon. Blessings to all of you.